Hey, my name is Austin Clark. I'm the creator of the short film series The Port, and I'm glad you came. The Port is a short crime series made up of 15 shorts. Written, directed, shot, edited, and occasionally, for budgeting reasons, starring me. It was primarily shot in my hometown, Wilmington, North Carolina. If you're not familiar with the area, you may also know it as Wrightsville Beach. A couple other cities I visited along the way, such as Baltimore, Raleigh, Durham, are sprinkled into the fictional port city town we created. If you haven't checked it out, it is available to watch right here on YouTube, and if you have time, I'd love you to do so. The main reason I'm making this video is because of how desperate I was before the port and continue to be after to learn as much about filmmaking as I possibly can. And while there's a million people that are more qualified than me that you can learn from, if I can shed light on one thing you've been curious about or help give you one idea that you didn't have before, then I would consider this a success. Even if you see me overcomplicating something that makes you say, I'm actually going to do it this way, I'd be thrilled for you. There's no way I'm going to hit every single little thing, so if you have any specific questions, drop them below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Before we get too deep into it, if we could, I'd like to go back to the beginning. It all started with one 7-minute short. It was a basic idea that revolved around a character breaking into a house. The audience would follow the character until they eventually arrived to someone tied up in the attic of the home, then revealing that rather than a robbery, it's a rescue mission. I mapped it out, shot some test footage here and there, which became a really beautiful tool for me because of how much it informed me of what I was looking for. Sometimes it was with purpose, while other times things were revealed on a subconscious level that made me say, oh wow, I do like the way that makes me feel. I scouted for a good bit, fleshed out the script, and toyed with making posters for the first time. We did a couple trial runs as I was upgrading gear along the way. Here's an example. And while I was never disappointed in the results of the test footage, I eventually decided I wanted to go in a different direction. Luckily, the direction I chose was influenced by what was shot, so there were a number of frames that were still used for other pieces of work, and even the title stuck around. The funny thing is, the main reason I wanted to move in a different direction is because I wanted to solely be behind the camera and thought it may prove too difficult to cast someone that could return multiple times if needed. Then I proceeded to write roles for over 15 actors, while also occasionally sprinkling myself in out of necessity. That choice ended up being 1,000 times more work. One thing I really want to hone in on is how much work all this is. Don't get me wrong, I have a blast with all of it, but you're going to need all the help that you can get. And when you don't have help, you need to be prepared to do everything yourself. You'll be surprised at the people who will help you when you ask, and you'll be surprised at the people who don't help you. The best way to combat this, in my opinion, is to expect to fulfill the roles of many and to be confident when the time comes. Preparation is even more important in this scenario. When preparing for myself, I look at it as gifting the future me. I take an extraordinary amount of reference photos, sometimes starting in rudimentary forms, and eventually turn them into the image I see in my mind. Even though the image is in my mind the whole time, I use the references as building blocks to map out every aspect of the shot. You'll be surprised at what you can turn things into, and you'll be surprised at how gratifying it is to see the progress of it all when it's all done. Scouting is also extremely fun to me in every form, whether you're looking for locations to shoot or looking for props that can enhance your set. One of the biggest pieces of advice when working at the low to no budget level I ever received or read, and I cannot stress this enough, is to make a list of all the things you have access to. And I mean sit down and dig fucking deep. Whether it's the garage at your parents', their house, your friend's house, your grandparents' farm, where you work, where your best friend lives, but also props and things like your neighbor's sports car, old airsoft guns from your childhood, a broken grill that your boss is about to throw away that you could possibly explode, a large refrigerator box that you can paint to look like contraband. The list goes on and on. The more extensive you go, the better it will serve you. Maybe you have an empty room and then you fill said room with duffel bags from your attic and you completely change the texture of the room. Now the prop has made the location, which shows how similar they can be. Once you have your lists, you can choose to write around the locations or props themselves, bank them for the next thing you're writing, or see how they can already be of use to things you have written. In doing this, I eventually created a shorthand with myself and was able to see how the smallest of items can come in handy, which would occasionally bring me to the dollar store, Goodwill, or Amazon to see what odd item I could add to my utility belt. Treat yourself, gift yourself. The future you will be happy when the time comes.
There's no relation between them. Pool of blood, that is. Two men probably go hand in hand.
I work 2 jobs, so my shooting schedule is all over the place. One thing I absolutely love doing is setting up a shot or a set before work, so when I get off, all I have to do is just turn the camera on. I'll personally spend the whole day thinking about shooting regardless, but seeing the set ready, it just adds an extra spark. Separately, and this may seem minor, but it's really helpful for me, instead of doom scrolling on social media, spend some of your downtime looking at photography or stills from other films. There's plenty of places to look, and I have a blast doing it. I have dozens of folders of old film photography that I keep on hand to inform me. You can always reverse image search to find similar photos, and along the way, in the midst of all this, you'll discover countless talented artists that you can follow until the end of time. Also, depending on the genre, I looked at news photography to see what I can replicate to make sure I'm doing it with accuracy. Now, I'm going to shut up for a little bit just so you can see how the shot came together.
Can you walk behind like the building where I can't see you and walk to the trash can? No, this way.
One of the most important aspects of taking reference photos and videos for me is lighting. I'd highly recommend it for that reason alone. Even if you have to shoot it on your phone, you will become more familiar with the color temperature in the area when it's time to shoot, and more familiar with the space you'll have for additional lighting and equipment. It doesn't always have to look perfect when you're getting references for yourself, but sometimes if you do it with enough care, you might just end up with a few shots that end up in the final cut and blend nicely with your primary camera. Always be ready to shoot. I've been late countless times just because I had to pull over to get a quick shot, but it's worth it even if I don't shoot the scene there. You can never have enough B-roll. Shoot it, save it, put it in a folder for safekeeping. I guarantee it'll come back around for you. And if it doesn't, you'll just end up seeing a few more sunsets than the average person. And now I'm going to shut up again so you can see how this shot came together. Like everything else in life, the more you're willing to experiment, the more outcomes you'll get. This was one of my favorites, and I didn't think of it until the night before we were set to shoot. Even though my phone camera has an entirely different makeup than the camera I shoot with, because of how shaded the inside of a cabinet is compared to the room, it makes them indistinguishable. Let's roll it now. Open it. Reach in. There you go. They're all on the same measure. And this is the absolute last one.
Should I like turn it so you can see it with a gun?
I think we should be good. And because of my experience with that shot, I was able to come up with another one on the fly using a similar technique a few weeks later. I've touched on it, but simply put, making props is a shit. They can be as simple as spray painting disposable gloves black for added texture, or as detailed as finding a deal on duffel bags that you have to fill with contraband. It can be time consuming, but the final product is sick. Goodwill and the dollar store are your best friends. But don't forget to clean out an attic or two to see what's laying around from your childhood. Something that I've used in my everyday life for a while now are the printing machines at my local drugstores. You can get pictures printed from your phone for normally $1 or less per picture, and they normally get cheaper with the more you buy. In this case, I shot a boatload of surveillance photos on my phone of different characters that a detective is investigating. I like that the surveillance photos add a level of tangibility that wouldn't have been there before. They're cool to hold on to, make for great wrap gifts, and even if you can't use it in your film, you should just go print off pictures of things that make you happy. Why not? Although I had and still have a lot to learn, creating and editing images wasn't a foreign concept to me when this journey began. Promotion, however, was completely new to me. What worked for me was sticking as true to the project as possible. The budget was going to be shoestring, so I felt it was right that the first teaser would feature a title card that was written on a napkin. Because I wanted the series to blur the line of real and fiction, I recorded a ton of everyday sounds and turned them into sound effects of my own. I also took advantage of photographing the sets as much as possible and blending the pictures with the posters I would create. More on that in a second as the first teaser finishes up. Every poster and alternative poster I created was either a frame from its respective film or a piece of photography from a day of shooting its respective film. This became one of my favorite parts of the process and something I look forward to each week. It's probably the closest I'll ever come to being an artist in the way you're taught in elementary, because I can't draw to save my life. This is honestly my favorite part of this video as well, because it's actually a detailed side-by-side, step-by-step of each poster and how they came to life when you look close. I'm sure most viewers didn't see the connection. Hope someone was able to pick up on the trend and try and find where they connect. Keep on tinkering. You're bound to discover what you're really looking for. Now I'm going to shut up again and let it ride for a bit. Damn, I love an alternative poster. I don't believe I can teach you how to actually shoot in this video. It may sound like simpleton nonsense, but the only way you can do that is by picking up a camera, pointing it, and shooting. You will get better, and you'll be amazed, but you have to do it constantly. I shoot more than anyone I know, and I know that I don't actually shoot nearly enough. This is art, so I can see why you might not be keen to think of it this way, but to be a high-level basketball player, you have to train 4 to 6 hours per day. A better comparison might be a guitarist who at the highest levels may reach up to 8 hours per day. This is no different, but it's fun as hell. Get involved any way you can. I have no desire to be an actor, but acting has made me a better director. The only reason I ever had any interest in being a director is because I wanted to make sure things I had written got made. Now they're married in a way, but it all comes back down to the blank page for me. With that being said, it also makes it easier to direct on the page when I know I'll be making the decisions, which indirectly makes me more detailed because I can talk to myself all damn day, as you can see. You must become comfortable, so you'll be willing to take more risks and remain steadfast within the risk when challenges occur. I don't take shaving someone's head lightly, but I knew we'd make it look cool. I wasn't sure if I could hide my phone under an item a character was coming across, but because similar things had already been presented to me, I knew it was worth a shot. I was positive that wrapping a garage up in plastic in the middle of a southern summer would be hotter than Hades, so I did it by myself in the middle of the night and played the character originally meant for someone else.
Like he could have changed.
These things make you crafty. I was actually impressed when I made it look like 3 victims were shot by lying with some homemade dummies and controlling the camera with my obscured hand. Especially become comfortable with your material. Try and think how your actors will interpret it. It doesn't have to change your thinking, but put yourself in their shoes. They're going to want to be directed when the time comes. Through this, you'll find the fine line of being fully involved while also giving them their space. You'll be moved by these beautiful people, making your characters come to life. Here are back-to-back cell phone shots that are achieved by propping the phone up on the rolled up window of a car in motion. And here the gun was supposed to be in the same car, but I just pulled up and out of my dad's driveway a few times to allow the street lamp to double as my natural night lights. Our last night shooting was awesome. I was burnt out by this time, but we had done so much work and the actors were so used to everything that it flowed without a hitch. There was unfortunately no way to keep the plastic room's temperature down this time, but already having past experience setting up and breaking down the set made it that much easier to recreate. These particular shots could have popped up before when I mentioned always being ready to shoot, but I chose to save them based on how they came to be. After finishing a scheduled shoot one night, I got all cleaned up and was about to drive away when I noticed ambulance lights piercing through the woods. I do want to mention that I made sure everything was straight first. Once I saw everything was good, I grabbed my camera, my car running, and shot until the batteries died. What else was I going to get free ambulance lighting? On my list of things I had access to, I included a rug for my mom. She was about to throw away her dining room rug, and I thought, instead of tossing it, why not blow someone's brains out on it first and then toss it? All I needed was some corn syrup, chocolate syrup, and red food color. This shoot combined multiple things I recently brought up. I ordered a cheap hospital gown from Amazon, used my mom's skincare office as a hospital room, and acted while controlling the camera blindfolded. I can also confirm it's a terrible idea to shoot something with your eyes closed. You can get there, but you're going to need to meditate before and after. And as we close out, just remember you can rent a U-Haul for under $30, and if you can recreate a set 2 times, you can damn sure do it a 3rd time. Now, because I did shoot this myself with such a limited crew, I was only able to capture a fraction of the hijinks behind the camera, but somehow bloopers always manage to find their way through. So that's how we're going to end this video. I really appreciate you watching. Here's just a little bit of the stuff. It's not even half, not even a quarter, but thank you so much. Have a good day. Make something great. Watch something great. Have fun.
Hello, everyone. This is Galliello reporting.
Good fuck! You gotta hold it. You got 1%.
Fuck. Sorry. Here. Fuck. Fuck. Here we go. Ready?
What is he doing to him?
You poor brother, man. I told him I know him. I said, man, the lady should be home by 7:30.
Oh! You did not make that noise after that. Hello there. So, let's try what was it looking like? Hey, you do it. Let me see what you're saying. Oh, dude, it's fucking sick. Why would you put the black clothes on in? Because I'm in it already. I mean, that was like so damn perfect. You did like a whole fucking. Let's make something up. I can't. I'm not like that. Really, I'm not rhythm like that.
I'm not getting. Hey guys. Hey guys, it's me, Florence. This is behind the scenes. You can't see me because he's blocking my light. But it's me. I know I should be mad. You don't have to use.
Hey, let's start.